rolling another nonstop half hour of power with your help. Looking forward to talking.
In state, the number 1 seed against LIU Brooklyn, and then Michigan against Ohio. Here to break down those games and more is John Malioris from SportsFanChicago.com. Good morning to you, Johnny. Good morning to you, Johnny. I think you're there right now. Time to discuss about those 2 big games tonight. How you doing, man?
Yeah, what's happening, guys? How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's nice to hear from you this morning, as we always do. And let's take a look. First, yesterday, the tournament. How do you see things playing out? Any surprises for you yesterday?
Basically, I started off writing. Had gotten an opportunity from one of my friend's clients. Had come up to him and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a guy that can cover, some hockey, most likely the Blackhawks." And so, ended up meeting up with this guy, and I coach a baseball team. And so he ended up asking me. We started talking about coaching and getting into that, and it was just an instant coaching connection where you start talking about philosophies and how you actually teach players on how to do things. Stuff along those lines. And so we got off to a pretty good start, and I ended up writing a few articles for him that he ended up just later on posting right after the fact. And so, once he ended up liking my stuff, I got my articles out there for a couple weeks, and then I ended up finding a radio gig, and then I ended up doing a radio show. We started off doing every Saturday. It was about a 15-minute spot, and then I worked my way up into, it was about 2 weeks of 15 minutes, and then 2 weeks of 30 minutes. And then from that point on, after those 4 weeks, I'd ended up going into about at least over an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours worth of baseball conversations. When it's color coordinated like that, the red teams are Chicago teams, so I'm able to instantly locate Chicago teams amongst the rest of the teams in the league. And when it comes down to player transactions, if I'm just casually browsing through and say, okay, well, the White Sox picked up Kosuke Fukudome, sometime within the last few months. And so I'll go through, and amongst all the green teams, I'll find a red team. Okay, here it is, White Sox. And then I'll find the date. I'll find out how much he signed for, what he signed. And so it just makes it a lot easier, and especially when I have the sidebars along the sides of the pages where I'm able to keep just shorter notes. Is kind of just the gist of what I'm able to find on this page in particular.
Johnny, thank you so much for the insight, man. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday morning. Where can I find your work online?
If you'd like, you can find me on SportsFanChicago.com. Otherwise, if you have a Twitter bot, look me up at Malioris, Malioris. Otherwise, send me an email at jmail.mlb@gmail.com.
That's all she wrote.